All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're diving into an explainer that is designed to fundamentally reframe a topic you probably think you already know all about, and that is strength training. Usually when we think of hitting the weight room, we immediately associate it with getting ready for a summer vacation. Or maybe, I don't know, chasing a new personal best on the bench press. But we are entirely shifting the paradigm today. We're moving way beyond short-term aesthetics. Instead, we're talking about something vastly more important. We're talking about playing the long game.
So, what if the secret to independence in your 90s actually starts in the weight room today? I know, it sounds like a pretty bold claim, right? But I really want to challenge your perception of aging right off the bat here. So often, we're taught to view physical decline as this inevitable, unavoidable slide that we just sort of have to accept. Well, as you'll see in this explainer, the way you train your muscles today directly dictates whether you'll be walking unassisted, easily playing with your grandkids, or retaining your absolute autonomy decades from now. You aren't just working out, you are actively playing the long game.
Section 1, the lifelong investment.
Okay, so here's our first major paradigm shift. I want you to completely stop looking at exercise as a temporary hobby. It's not a quick 30-day challenge or some seasonal chore you have to get through. We have to start viewing physical training, specifically resistance training, as a mandatory, lifelong investment. Our roadmap for this journey takes us chronologically, starting all the way down at age 9, representing the very beginning of our physical development, and maps a path all the way up to age 91. This is a full lifespan trajectory. What we do at age 9, age 12, or age 60 literally echoes all the way into our 80s and 90s. We're going to unpack each of these critical milestones today, but keep this full, lifelong picture in the back of your mind as our map for the journey ahead.
Section 2, the threat of sarcopenia.
So, fast-forwarding a bit to age 60, the tone shifts and we meet the true villain of our story, sarcopenia. If we're playing the long game to maintain our independence, we absolutely need to understand exactly what biological force is out there threatening it. Sarcopenia is the rapid acceleration of muscle loss that occurs after age 60, which very often leads to a devastating loss of independence. Now, this isn't just about feeling a little weaker or losing some muscle tone as you age. No, this is an active, persistent threat to your future autonomy. You see, starting in our 30s, we slowly begin to lose muscle mass, but once we hit 60, that loss kicks into absolute overdrive. If left totally unchecked, the body actively begins stripping away the very tissue that keeps you upright, mobile, and safe.
To really understand the sheer gravity of this threat, consider this number, 1 in 3. Sarcopenia is the primary driver behind the incredibly harsh reality that 1 out of every 3 seniors will suffer a fall annually. Think about that for a second. 1 in 3 people over the age of 65 falls every single year. And in our later years, a fall isn't just a bruised knee. A fall often means a broken hip, a grueling hospital stay, and tragically, the permanent loss of independence. This is the aging slide. This is exactly what happens when we leave our physical resilience completely up to chance.
Section 3, reversing the aging slide. But here is the incredibly empowering news. Lifting reverses the aging slide. We absolutely do not have to accept physical decline as our ultimate fate. There is an exact, scientifically proven solution to this seemingly inevitable muscle loss, and the best part? It doesn't require a magic pill, a time machine, or some futuristic medical procedure. Resistance training is not just a fitness trend. I really want to hammer this home for you. It is a vital, targeted medical intervention that actively fights back against muscle loss. When you lift weights, you are sending a loud biological signal to your body that it must retain and build muscle tissue. You're completely overriding the sarcopenia protocol. You are literally telling your nervous system, hey, I still need this strength to survive. You better keep it around.
The data behind this intervention is just staggering. 40%. That is how much resistance training actually reduces your risk of falling. Imagine for a moment, just pretend there is a pharmaceutical drug that could reduce a senior's risk of life-altering falls by 40%. It would be heralded as a modern medical miracle. But you can get that massive reduction just by engaging in regular strength training. By building up the muscles in your legs, your core, and your back, you create this literal physical armor that keeps you balanced and upright.
And the benefits of this biological armor extend far beyond just preventing trips and falls. Regular resistance training actively lowers the risk of death from cardiovascular disease. It lowers the risk of death from cancer, and, as we've established, it directly prevents the loss of independence. These are massive, measurable health benefits. We are talking about genuine life extension and health span optimization here. Lifting weights fundamentally alters your biological trajectory, protecting you from some of the absolute biggest killers in modern medicine.
Section 4. Functional movement for life.
Now, we've talked extensively about fighting off decline, but what is the ultimate day-to-day goal here? Well, the goal of strength training isn't just to look like a bodybuilder posing on a stage. It's lifelong utility. It's about ensuring your body functions exactly how you need it to, regardless of your current age. Contrast these two very different stages of life. At age 12, carrying heavy groceries into the house, and then at age 89, leaning down to play with your great-grandkids. Think about the physical mechanics required for both of those everyday activities. You have to squat down, hinge at the hips, grip something awkward and heavy, and stand safely back up. The functional movement patterns are universally necessary. The barbell deadlift you practice in the gym perfectly mimics picking up a heavy bag of dog food or scooping up a toddler. Be strong to be useful. That's the core mantra here. The strength you build right now translates directly into the utility you're going to rely on decades down the line.
Section 5. Master the 3 circles.
So, how do we actually execute this on a daily basis? We've laid out the entire philosophy and biology of the long game, and now we need to look at the actionable conclusion. Building this kind of lifelong resilience requires a foundation built on 3 equal priorities: recovery, movement, and nutrition. You see, you could have a perfect movement routine, lifting heavy weights, walking, stretching, but if your nutrition is lacking the protein required to rebuild those muscle fibers, well, the system fails. Similarly, if your movement and nutrition are totally dialed in, but your recovery, meaning your sleep quality and stress management, is terrible, your body won't actually adapt to the training you're putting it through. You have to master all 3. It's the balance of these 3 elements day in and day out that compounds over a lifetime, staving off sarcopenia and building that armor we just talked about.
Which brings us to our final proactive thought for today. You are playing the long game, so how resilient is your foundation? I want you to really take a hard look at your daily habits right now. Are you treating your body like a short-term rental, or are you investing in it like a lifelong asset? Because every single time you prioritize protein on your plate, every time you choose to get an extra hour of quality sleep, and every time you pick up a weight to challenge your muscles, you are actively securing your future independence. Start building that foundation today because your 90-year-old self is absolutely depending on you. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.